Hi, my name is Jeremy Waldron. I'm in my dorm room and I'm working in my bed. My hair is really messy and I'm here to do a presentation about education and stuff. Isn't technology just grand? As I went through an education course that, well, probably no one in this room knows of, I learned many of the challenges that face our education system and our children. One of the most pressing and seemingly timeless issues is the vicious cycle of poverty in urban areas leading to poor education. Especially in overpopulated urban areas where crime is high and property values are low, many kids don't make it to college, fail academically, or even drop out, therefore continuing a pattern of an uneducated and thusly impoverished neighborhood without any socioeconomic development. There seems to be only one way to break this cycle, and that is to improve education. Therefore, I wondered, what are proven, affordable methods of raising the quality of poor-performing, underfunded urban schools? In order to figure out how to improve schools, first one must find out what problems education in urban areas face. I've identified 5 different levels of factors: teachers, schools, administration, community, and the students. Inexperienced or inadequate teachers are frequently put in urban schools because the schools lack the money needed to educate such large amounts of students, and they need the affordable teachers. Most poor urban schools can't afford the high experienced teachers. Furthermore, a good school needs a diversity of staff in terms of age, gender, experience, and ethnicity. Experience is not completely indicative of a good teacher, and in some cases, more experience is detrimental, so there should be a good mix. Teachers in urban areas also tend to burn out faster. Studies have shown that the morale of teacher deeply affects the quality of their education, which causes problems in urban school districts which are failing because they are essentially morale killers. In schools, lack of funding leads to damage and disrepair, basic resource deprivation, and physical and observable problems, which are very visible and are devastating for morale. It reminds students and teachers the environment that they are in. Furthermore, it makes students believe that they belong in this kind of environment, establishing a social identity of poverty. It also gives students the impression that no one cares. Not having toilet paper in a bathroom can be very damaging. Furthermore, lack of funding denies students of classroom resources, such as books, computers, lab equipment, field trips, and everything else that most schools take for granted. Classrooms are typically overcrowded, which doesn't give students the individualized attention that they need. Sometimes the population increase is too fast for the excruciatingly slow process of school expansion to keep up. Finally, there must be security in the school, because it's hard to focus in the classroom when you're afraid for your safety. In terms of administration is usually either lackadaisical, underexperienced, or under-supported. Patterns of poor-performing schools show unstable leadership, ineffective leadership, or a disconnect from the schools, the teachers, and the actual capabilities of the school. However, schools may not be poor-performing because of poor administration. Being a principal or administrator of a poor-quality urban school is one of the hardest jobs in education. Even an average administrator may not be able to handle it. It is a very difficult situation that most administrators do not have the understanding, specialized training, or resources to help. Administration has a hard time balancing federal requirements, staff demands, cost of operations, curriculum modification, teacher demands, parent demands, and demands for resources, all with a very, very low budget. The community must support schools. Lack of support for the school leads to lack of support for the students. Many poor-performing schools have had a long history of failure, and many have given up on all hopes of improvement. Furthermore, there may be fear of change because of previous failed attempts of improvement. Also, the poor neighborhood probably feels forms of helplessness in terms of social mobility because of the long-standing patterns of poverty, and thus accept poor education as the norm. The community and parents must back up the schools and students, participate in school events, believe in the school system, and come together in support. The more community involvement, the better the schools usually perform. Some of the most amazing stories of success and turnaround of a poor-quality urban school revolve around community. For students, they are usually unsupported, unmotivated, or unequipped. Some people give up on urban kids because of stereotypes, when in actuality, any kid can succeed. This leads to a lack of support and confidence not just from the community, but within the student himself. Students in these schools usually don't have social support, incentive, or the tools readily available for personal development. Most normal schools have activities and resources for kids to explore their interests and find a passion, which keeps them motivated and in school. But many low-income schools can't afford such programs. Furthermore, most schools don't have effective counseling for kids to help them develop, teach them social and life management skills, and help them plan for their future. Students in low income are typically more worried about their more basic needs, like food, money, safety, and shelter, and thus cannot focus on education. Though most urban schools have programs that help with food and safety, there are a few that still have problems providing these basic services. Bad experiences at school are actually better predictors of dropout rates than race, poverty, gender, or family background. And in urban schools especially, conflict is frequent and bad experiences are a given. Usually the kids do not know how to handle these problems and they don't have a social support or someone who can help them with these issues. Also, high academic pressures without support are correlated with higher dropout rates, so demanding a higher academic quality may be countereffective without the proper support as well. So what programs and methods work? In 2001, the federal government passed the No Child Left Behind bill, which says by 2014 all children will have reading and math skills at least at grade level. Failure to do so would lead to repercussions. Certain academically troubled schools, which are referred to Title I or Title I improvement schools, can receive aid. Furthermore, No Child Left Behind has increased accountability in all school districts. The effects have been profound on urban schools, which consist of many Title I schools. They are given the resources to scout higher experienced teachers, and it has also helped get the funding poor schools desperately needed. Although there are many criticisms of No Child Left Behind, the results have been promising. In 2005 through 2006, 28% of urban schools left the status of Title I school. 63% of urban school districts have started heavily recruiting experienced teachers for high-need schools. Furthermore, 50% got professional development training for their staff. The drawbacks are that it causes massive restructuring and many schools just cannot go through the process, either because of lack of money to do so or problems with existing staff. Also, it has been shown that pressures from No Child Left Behind has caused morale to drop in failing schools, which as mentioned is detrimental to teaching quality and just makes things worse. Some schools have been taken over by the state and are not doing so well, like the recovery school districts in New Orleans. In other states, however, the state taking over of schools has actually been successful. Most improvement plans stress social support is desperately needed for the students. There are many approaches to raising this support. Several improvement groups focus on incorporating the community into the school by facilitating school events. The STAR program, for example, is a 5-step program to unite students, teachers, and community with programs such as a student-run neighborhood newspaper, presenting achievements to the community, and other programs. Another method is a counseling training program, which stresses the importance of building a trusting relationship between a counselor and a student. The Check and Connect program has personal, out-of-school counselors assigned to students to help them with any problems they have, academically or socially, and intervene when a child is having issues, and also give the academic incentive they need to succeed. The program has been shown to cut dropout rates by half. After-school programs are very helpful at keeping kids in school, but frequently cost money. Student-run groups monitored by teachers help this. This helps kids keep in safe activities after school and develop talents and interests. Frequently, very troubled districts call in intervention bodies. Intervention bodies are groups that come in and restructure schools. Though usually not appreciated, they have a relatively successful outcome, and there are a multitude of them to choose from. One way to get more money is through charter school programs, although statistics show that generally, although some charter schools do better than public schools, most either do the same or worse. Although there is no 100% guaranteed way to improve urban schools, there is an effective method of starting any successful improvement model. The first step is to ensure safety first, since nothing could be done without a feeling of security at the school. One must also find an effective principal with training in these types of schools. He needs to be a stable source of leadership over the course of improvement. In terms of improvement, focus on physical first. Clean up the school and provide resources. This will have a visible and noticeable impact on how the school looks and will immediately increase morale and gain faith in improvement. The next step is to make a list of tangible and basic environmental goals and incorporate them at multiple levels. First with leadership, then get staff backing, and then use the money. This leads to making sure money is well spent and an improvement program can hit the ground running. Whenever any action is taken, it must be simultaneous and at all levels, otherwise it will break down and fall apart. For the next few improvements, keep them small. Baby steps help build momentum. Any program should incorporate the community in some way. Making parents involved and interested in their kids' academic future is a great key to success. Acknowledge every small accomplishment and every step because every step is a step in the right direction. From there, incorporate professional training and work on whole-scale improvements in the school and in academics. Make sure that there is support given to these pressures as well. These steps ensure the key to starting a whole-scale improvement project in an urban school. Although the situation in many urban schools is bad, they can always be improved. There are many organizations and methods to improving the quality of low-income schools and providing a future for children that they might not have known that they could have. Along with programs like No Child Left Behind, our schools are improving. Hopefully, poor urban schools can attain a quality similar to all other schools. Well, that's about all I have to say. If you have any questions, you can ask the physical representation of me. You're welcome, me.